Hi, people. This is Gio from my round table, and
Steven.
so we went to see Madam Web. So its director is S.J. Clarkson, and the main actress is Dakota Johnson. Then it's Sydney Sweeney. Then there is Isabella Mercer and Emma Robert. And this is basically about, well, let's what it's for me. Okay, it's about this woman who's reached the fortune teller. She reached the future and everything, and it predates before Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man. And how you know that? Because the Dakota Johnson, who becomes Madam Web, okay, she works with a guy, an ambulance. It's called Ben, and his name is Ben Parker. He met a girl named May, who becomes May Parker. The woman who's there was pregnant. It's Peter Parker in there. You didn't know that, huh?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so they're intertwined that how the spider web is all interact, because that's how these people all met each other and everything. And look, if this was the prequel of the Marvel Universe, it would have been a killing. Okay? But the reason they bring out this movie after three redone Spider-Mans and the Marvel Universe crashing and DC's crashing too, to me it's like it's very well done. And another movie, like I find Women Empowerment was very well done, because the women are not over exact. They have different characters. They have all different ways of looking at the world and how they feel about themselves. And together, they're able to help each other out. They're willing to admit everything. So it was very well done. It was all these Spider-Women of the future, right? And one of them was in Spider-Man, I think in the 80s and 90s, when Spider-Man had the black costume. And this Spider-Woman, who she's there, I think it was Sydney Sweeney, she becomes that one there. Now, normally she have white lenses, okay, on her eyes. But you see her whole eyes and everything. And the other ones look more or less to how they are. It's like, why not? Why? You not willing to spend money on CGI? You know, certain things they got cheaper. And look, it is a good movie, like a documentary, because there's not as much action as you want to do. I mean, like the Spider-Man fighting all this the spider alien dude, whatever you want to call him, his name is Ezekiel, the Spanish guy.
I don't remember the name anymore.
Oh yeah, okay, Ezekiel. But he did appear, because when Madam Web appeared in Spider-Man the comic book, he also appeared in the comic books in those days. I think it was Amazing Spider-Man, something like that. You go there with a suit, he had gray hair, was barefoot and everything. Okay, so he's so-called the villain in this movie. It's a very good story and everything, but it's too late came to the theater. You know, it's to me example, like sometimes with me, Steven, we do our broadcast, and I say so many times, they're making movies out of not even B-lister characters, like Black Adams, Morpheus. They were good movies, but they're not. The only people who go see those movies are people who are real comic book fanatics who knows comic books. But they're not the thing they're gonna pull strangers and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go see them." No. They're not big. They're not big players. These people, especially like Madam Web, she never made a mini series of four issues. You know, it's like, and all these three characters, they're not very known. They make special appearance in Spider-Man or whatever, maybe once every 3 years. So making a movie out of that, to me, that doesn't click. If they made this for a project for Netflix or Amazon or whatever, then I understand. You know, like it's not in the theater, it's in a cable channel. But to go to the theater, you know, an example, look, here it is. Rotten Tomatoes give it 13%. And then people liking it 37. So think of it, 13 and 37. Because all these people saying, who are these people? There's no attachment to them, kind of sense. I mean, the acting was, they're playing their role, they're doing there's action, and there's a good storyline and everything. But because of Ben, who's this, who's that, not knowing that, because his mother was pregnant, his father's, if I remember right, is a secret agent, and then they end up dying, or they're supposed to be dying. There's all different kind of stories. So the whole storyline is, because I'm a pure comic fanatic, give or take, you know. But people know nothing. They're like, I don't get it, and I don't blame them. So for me, this is like, if you're a fanatic of comic book, cheapo night, it's more than enough. And if you know nothing about comic books, watch it at home with somebody next to you, putting on pause and explaining to you who are these people later on in the future, this and that, because a lot of things will not make sense because these are very, like, not even B-lister, C-lister characters in a comic book that to me, no, because the storyline, as I said, like Morpheus and Elvis Space, they have great storyline. But if you don't know who they are, you don't get involved. You, Steven.
Okay, I remember Madame Web from a comic book. I think I had one comic where I saw her as an older lady.
Yeah.
And she would be able to tell the future, and she helped, I think, Spider-Man.
Peter Parker, yeah.
Peter
Spider-Man.
Parker in a mission that he had to do.
To guide him, yeah.
To guide him in the right place before something would go wrong. And that's all I ever knew about this character.
And you love comic books.
And I was, at the time I was younger, I was very much into comic books. So this I thought was an odd selection. But I guess they're trying to expand the Spidey universe. And I understand that. My issue with this movie, I don't think the director S.J. Clarkson knows how to direct the movie. I felt that the action sequences went nowhere. I felt that I didn't care about any, even if I understood the story, I didn't care about anybody in this movie. If they all died, it wouldn't change anything for me.
Because you don't know them.
Even if I did, the way they were done, how everything was done in this movie, it would look like a Hallmark movie. It was so cheesy done. The action sequences were bad and not even exciting. The moments where they're supposed to care for each of the three girls who are going to become Spider Women in the future, you don't care. They didn't feel like they were connected to each other. I didn't feel that what's her name, Dakota Johnson's character cared about them at all. She's just playing a part in a movie, and I know, but because I don't feel like there's nothing. I'm looking at people playing parts, and that's it. Like in our previous movie review, Argyle, I kind of believed that she was a writer and she didn't know it was this. It's a person just doing a role, and no matter how good they are, the director dropped the ball. There was nothing going for this one. This thing makes Morbius and Black Adam look like Lord of the Rings. The different there's no quality in this one. They made a superhero movie because they want to keep the Spider-Man universe going, and they can't wait for that cartoon, the Spider-Verse, to come out.
Yeah.
They need something in between to fill it up. They use this, but there was no point to this movie. There is nothing you can salvage in this movie, in my opinion. I'm glad we went cheapy night, and I still feel I paid $7 way too much.
$8.
It
was more expensive.
It was $8. I said I spent $7 so it's worth $1 in my opinion. So if it was for me, I would avoid this thing like the plague. Wait for Netflix. If you really need to see something else in the Spider-Verse, wait for your streaming services. I cannot endorse this movie at all.
Put it there. There is a storyline because you said that there's no emotion and everything. Because in the beginning, all these four women, they're all cold. They're very closed. But then you get to know why. For example, what's her name? Isabella Merced is that her father was deported back to her country. So she was living in apartments for so many months, delaying the landlord that my father's gonna come back, but I'm back. So she had nobody to rely on. She doesn't want to go back to the country. Then you had the other one, what's called
Sydney Sweeney?
No, Sydney Sweeney, yeah. Her father got remarried, and she finds that they don't want her. So she feels, and she was also bullied in her school. She took self-defense, give or take. So she felt like nobody wants her. Then there was the other Black American woman. I forgot her name, what she was, because I don't think I don't think it's Emma Robert, but I'm not sure. She has rich parents. Well, father's a filthy rich one, and his treasurer wife, whatever, and they kind of have the maid and the butler taking care of her. They gave her a car, do what you want to do, let us live our life and you can live your life. So nobody had love. And then what's called Dakota Johnson, because her mother passed away, she felt that the mother never loved her. Because the mother, because she gave birth, whatever, she was pregnant, and so she goes, because you didn't care about me because you're willing to risk me in the jungle. And then when you find all the stories of these people coming out, they're changing. And at the end, when they came back from the grocery shopping, they became more of a family because they all faced all their negative life, and they all have a lot of things in common. and you can see they're growing less of strangers and more family. So instead of being so fast, slowly but surely you understand why these people, like, they had bad characters or cold or they didn't care about the other person. They always wanted to punch each other in the face. They wanted, like, say, like, they were always like pulling a tantrum against each other. Then you start understanding why they were like that, and you start seeing that they're becoming the future family to themselves with these four. Now, saying what Steven said and everything, to me, Cheapo Knight, you have to be a pure comic fanatic, as I said before. And if you're not, rent it or watch it on TV at home, and make sure there's somebody next to you who understands comic book. Put on pause. No, Dua Lipa called me. Woo! You'll know why if you watched Argyle, huh? And we'll put on pause and explain it to you, because these are all not even B-listers, they're C-listers kind of sense. Characters in the comic book. I mean, if they made a movie of Sinister Six, a lot more people will go see it because everybody knows Dr. Octopus, the Vultures, all the Sandman and the Rhino and everything. But these are B-listers, okay, C-listers, sorry. Yeah. It's like, I went because I thought what happened is that, like, her seeing the future, will she see the future of Spider-Man, the Marvel Universe changing, and they're seeing, like, the new path of the Marvel Universe, and it didn't show that part. So I went with the flow. I go, it was good. But this, as I said, should have been the prequel of the Marvel Universes, and her showing the future of the Avengers and this and this and this. That stimulates people like, wow, I can't wait for those other movies. Because this one here, it's not a comic, it's a comic book, for example, with a movie. It's a movie to start the momentum. But it's not the Big Bang Theory movie of all time, which I agree with Steven there. So, as I said, if you love your comics, you can go Cheapo Knight Max. And if you're not a comic book fanatic, wait for Netflix. And that's it. You agree? Or not agree?
I agree that you should wait for Netflix at all costs. I understand, like, what you're saying makes sense. It just didn't transcend onto the screen for me. So it's just there's something there to watch, but I got nothing out of it.
It was missing a lot of stuff. Like,
yes, it was.
Like
it seemed like a Hallmark movie, you know. Like it was like so
clean,
cheesy.
No, I think it was clean because the spider guy there with the costume, he didn't look villainous as much. He looked more villainous when he had a suit.
He looked like he was like, you know,
a Halloween party.
Yeah, he was from a Halloween party. You're not gonna get scared. He's gonna kill. Oh, look, there's a guy from a Halloween party.
Yeah, it's kind of The only thing I liked about him was how he dispensed the cops in the subway. Like, an example, Spider-Man lost his patient would be just as bad.
Yeah.
And then when you see the future, the three, because you know the trailer, those three women fighting him, you don't feel their power. They feel like very one-dimensional. You know, like I said, you look at them, like, yeah, okay, and that's what it is. Even at the end when they show 4 female characters, give or take, and you're like, yeah, and so.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
but I felt throughout. Like I said, I'm waiting for this payoff that they're gonna become a team, and I never felt anything for it.
But okay, mind you, it's still better than Catwoman with Halle Berry.
Well, you know what? At least Halle Berry in tight leather pants. I'll take tight leather pants, Halle Berry. Something to look at least.
No, I'll say I want 2 words: Dua Lipa.
She's not in this movie.
But in the here she was. Yeah, see, and it's all the fault of Argyle because we did a broadcast on that. That's why she damaged my brain, and she broke my heart. And I don't blame her because I would have dumped myself a long time ago if I was her. So that's it. So we both have different opinions. So let's agree to disagree.
Correct.
And then you guys, whoever watches our Netflix or the theater, you guys can commentate us, reach us out. Tell us, or subscribe, as you know, and tell your comments saying, look, hey, I agree with Gio. I agree with Steven. I don't agree with none of you guys. And you give your comments, right?
I agree. Well, yeah.
And we agree again.
We agree on that one.
We agree to disagree again.
So we appreciate you tuning into the channel.
Yes, thank you
like
much,
you said,
guys.
hit the like button, subscribe, and keep those webs coming. Get your spider senses tingling, whatever we got.
My spider webs goes, put your shoes back and get the hell out of here. Okay, so this is Gio.
And Steven.
Of the Round Table.
Wishing you the very best.
And thank you for listening to us.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.